Hey guys, welcome to my channel. This is the fifth video of security testing series. In this video, we are going to take a step further to a new phase of security testing. This phase is called vulnerability assessment. So without further delay, let's get started. In the previous videos, we have gathered the list of subdomains and their associated IPs. We have also found out about the open ports and services running on these ports. We also did content discovery and might have found some files containing the sensitive information. Now, in this particular case of finding a file with sensitive information, it is in itself a vulnerability, and we can further escalate it during penetration testing, and it is our next phase of security testing. So whatever examples I just gave, I have covered all of them in previous videos. If you're not aware of some of these things or all of these things, then I have added a link of previous videos in the description below, and I've also created a playlist for this particular security testing series, and you can find it from the I icon above. So what is vulnerability assessment? Well, vulnerability assessment is a process of finding weaknesses or loopholes present in an application or a system. This information can be used by different stakeholders for prioritizing the risks for potential remediations. Now, there are different ways of performing vulnerability assessment, we can make use of certain tools, or okay, now we can perform this particular activity on your web application, on your infrastructure or mobile applications and whatnot. And we can either start with manual techniques, or we can make use of certain tools. Vulnerability assessment, when it is done in association or together with the penetration testing, then that it is more effective. And but performing VAPT is a time consuming process, and might not be feasible in some of the cases. For example, you have a deployment tomorrow, and today you want to find out whether there are any vulnerabilities present in your application or not. Although this is not a right approach, and you're quite late for doing so. But still, suppose you want to do that, and there's an urgency, and you want to do that, then you can make use of vulnerability assessment tools. So one of such tools that we can use for performing the vulnerability assessment is SSL Scan. As the name suggests, it will scan the SSL services of our application in order to determine the ciphers that are supported. It will also report any SSL related vulnerabilities present. Some of the common SSL related vulnerabilities are TLS 1.0 or 1.1 version being detected, then weak cipher suits being used, etc. Now this particular tool, SSL Scan, is an open source tool, and you can easily set it up. I'll show you a quick demo of this tool. So I'm at the terminal right now, and before proceeding with the scan, let me do this ls and show you the content of this file. Okay, by the way, the link to this particular SSL scan is there in the description. You can get from there, or you can, if you'll just simply Google SSL scan, and you will get the GitHub link for this thing, for this particular tool. SSL scan and the domain name, which is and here you can see the results. So what are the things that this particular tool looked for, whether this TLS 1.0 is present or not, 1.1 is present or not. So it is not present. So if these were supported and it was enabled, then it would have been a vulnerability and we could have reported it. And then we have this TLS renegotiation, which is also not supported over here. It is also looking for hard bleed. It is also not present and not vulnerable, and certain SSL related information is present over here. So it's good. So this is how you can perform an SSL scan on your target application. So now we will cover another tool which helps us in finding vulnerabilities related to the web server, and the name of this tool is Necto. It is an open source tool, and we can use this tool for scanning our web servers. This won't give you application specific issues, but might help in discovering any vulnerability related to the web server. The tool also looks for the presence of approximately 6,700 dangerous files which might be present in on a web server, and the presence of these files might be dangerous or risky as they might contain some sensitive information. So let's see a quick demo of this tool as well. Okay, let me just clear this thing. Necto, and you can see all these parameters I can use. So as of now, I'll just do this Necto -h. Okay, there's one already vulnerable application present for us to practice this security thing, and I'm just typing the URL of that application. It's testphp.vulweb.com. So the only reason I'm using this particular application so that you can actually get to see the vulnerabilities being found out by these tools. So you can see that anti-clickjacking XPM options header is not present. So this means that this particular application can be exploited for this clickjacking vulnerability. And then you can see the server that is being used is nginx 1.19. Here you can also see the IP address of this particular application. Now it will take some time, so let's directly jump to the results. So the scanning is complete and you can see the results on your screen that we have already covered this thing that anti-clickjacking XPM options header is not present. Then we also found out that this application is probably vulnerable to SQL injection. You can see this potential PHP MySQL database connection string found, and then probably it also has directory listing vulnerability. We have found out this admin directory, and here you can also again see that directory indexing found. So this is how you can use Necto for finding out the vulnerabilities of your application web server. Need not to say, but the scanners might give false positives, and you need to verify each and every vulnerability is being reported by these scanner tools. So time to move to our third tool, which is hosted scan, and it provides wide range of features, and you can perform ANF scan, you can perform the SSL scan, and also the application scan. Till now we have done the SSL scanning and we have scanned our application web server. Now this particular tool, hosted scan, helps us scan our web applications and report any vulnerabilities related to them. So this particular tool will help us finding out if any vulnerability is present, such as the SQL injection, cross-site scripting, your local file inclusion, or remote file inclusion. Although it's a paid tool, but they do provide free scanning as well. And the good thing is that you do not need to do any setup or installation for this particular tool. It's out there in the public, and there's a website that you need to access, hostedscans.com, and there you need to sign up and you can perform the scan. So let's have a quick look at this tool. So this is the dashboard. I'm already logged into my account and I already performed a scan for this for application. So first thing that you need to do is you need to add a target, and you can add a target from here. After adding a target, you can start a new scan. You just have to go to the new scan, select all these things or like any specific one. If you want to perform a specific scan, then you need to select your target. Okay, let me just select everything. Okay, proceed to next page. So this is the vulnerable application which I have already added. Just select this thing, go to next page. Okay, and then you can submit it and it will start the scan. Okay, let me go to the scans, and here is the result of my scan. Okay, you can see the like your Nmap scan results from here, and this is the only port that was found to be open, port 80. Then you can view this particular report over here, and you can see that it has not only found out the vulnerabilities but it also categorized them according to the severity. So two medium severity vulnerabilities were found and two low severity vulnerabilities were found. Absence of anti-CSRF tokens, missing anti-click checking header, and this particular vulnerability was also reported by Necto tool. Server leaks information, X content type options header missing, and character mismatch. And there's another report which we can view, OWASP ZAP active report, ZAP scanning report. So this particular report has found out two high severity vulnerabilities and three medium severity vulnerabilities, and it has also found out the cross-site scripting vulnerability is also present. SQL injection is also present. So we are getting good number of vulnerabilities using this tool. So this is an amazing tool, being it's a free tool. I mean, although it provides, I guess, 10 scans per month if you are using a free account, and you can also check out their pricing if you are interested in buying this particular subscription for this tool. So I have found out this tool to be really interesting and really good. And if you want to share these results with your client, or you need it for documentation of this particular report, you can download the HTML version, JSON version, PDF version, or XML version of the report for these scans. One thing to keep in mind is if any tool, like whether it's hosted scan or whether it's Necto, if they are reporting or they are highlighting a particular vulnerability, then it's not necessarily a true thing. You will have to verify the presence of that particular vulnerability using manual techniques. Suppose a tool points out that application is using an old version of Nginx, which is vulnerable to cross-site scripting. Now, it could be a false positive as well, because there's a possibility that a patch for that particular vulnerability is already installed, and in real there could be no cross-site scripting vulnerability present. So I have came across several reports where some people simply run the scan using these tools and share the report, and the client gets paranoid upon seeing so many vulnerabilities in their application. However, on manual verification, it is discovered that many of those vulnerabilities were either low severity information or completely false positive. So that is why manual penetration testing is a must for verifying these vulnerabilities also, and also performing some other test. So I'll be covering about it in the coming videos. So that's all about vulnerability assessment. If you have any questions, then please reach out to me via comments below. If you have yet not subscribed to this channel, then please do so. I will see you in the next video. Till then, goodbye and happy learning.